There is something strange about human nature. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be noticed. Everyone wants to walk into a room and feel that people are drawn to them. But the harder we try to impress others, the less attractive we often become. The more we talk about ourselves, the more we try to prove how smart we are, the more we try to look special, the more we push people away without even realizing it. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. Stoicism does not teach you how to manipulate people. It does not teach you cheap tricks to make someone chase you. It teaches something much deeper. When you master yourself, you naturally become more attractive. When you are no longer controlled by your ego, your insecurity, your need for approval, or your hunger to be seen as important, you begin to carry a rare kind of energy. Calm, grounded, focused, present. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the person who truly listens becomes unforgettable. In a world where everyone rushes to judge, the person who seeks to understand becomes trustworthy. In a world where everyone is trying to prove they matter, the person who makes others feel that they matter becomes magnetic. And there are 6 simple words that can change the way people feel around you. Those 6 words are, I see you, tell me more. At first, they sound ordinary. But behind these 6 words is a powerful psychological truth. Not because they are magic, not because they are a secret spell, not because they can control another person's mind. They work because they touch one of the deepest human needs, the need to be seen. Not just seen with the eyes, but seen with attention, seen with presence, seen in a way that says, you matter, your emotions matter, your story is not being ignored. Most people do not really listen. They wait for their turn to speak. When you tell a story, they are already preparing their own story. When you talk about your pain, they are already thinking of advice. When you share a dream, they are silently comparing it to their own dream. So when you meet someone who truly sees you, someone who is quiet enough to hear you, someone who is genuinely curious about the world inside you, you feel drawn to them. Not in a loud way, not in a desperate way, but in a deep way. The kind of attraction that makes people want to stay near you a little longer, speak a little more, open up a little deeper. I see you, tell me more. This sentence has 2 parts. The first part is, I see you. This is recognition. It tells the other person that you are not just looking at their face. You are not just hearing the sound of their voice. You are paying attention to the human being behind the words. You see the tiredness in their eyes. You see the joy they are trying to hide. You see the worry they have not fully expressed yet. You see a person, not a role. The second part is, tell me more. This is permission. It tells them, you do not have to rush. You do not have to shrink your feelings to make me comfortable. You can continue. I am here. And that is rare. A Stoic person is not attractive because they speak the most impressive words. They are attractive because they are not controlled by their lowest impulses. They do not rush to brag. They do not rush to react. They do not rush to win a small conversation and lose a real connection. They understand that sometimes silence at the right moment is stronger than the smartest answer. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to remain calm among people who were selfish, ungrateful, difficult, and chaotic. That did not make him weak. It made him strong, because anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can interrupt. Anyone can defend their ego. But very few people are strong enough to remain calm. And that calmness is attractive. Imagine talking to 2 different people. The first person is always trying to prove they are better. You tell a story, they tell a bigger one. You say you are tired, they say they are more tired. You share a small success, they immediately talk about their own success. After a few minutes, you no longer feel like you are a conversation. You feel like you are only there to give them a reason to talk about themselves. Now imagine the second person. They look at you, they listen. They do not rush to interrupt. When you pause, they do not immediately change the subject. They simply say, I see you, tell me more. Who would you remember? Of course, the second person. Not because they are more beautiful. Not because they are richer. Not because they have perfect communication skills, but because they make you feel safe. And in human relationships, safety is the foundation of real attraction. Many people confuse attraction with tension. They think they have to be mysterious, cold, unpredictable, or emotionally unavailable to make others interested. But that kind of attraction is often short-term. It creates anxiety, not trust. It creates obsession, not connection. Real attraction is not making someone addicted to your instability. Real attraction is making someone feel more peaceful around you, while still wanting to come closer. That is the energy of a person who has self-control. Stoicism teaches that you cannot control what other people think of you. You cannot control who likes you. You cannot control who rejects you. You cannot control who stays or who leaves. But you can control how you show up. You can control your words. You can control your attention. You can control your reaction. You can control whether your ego leads the conversation or your wisdom does. And when you stop obsessing over being liked, you often become more likable. That is the paradox. The person who desperately needs attention often makes people want to step away. The person who does not need to prove too much makes people curious. The person who constantly seeks validation gives off the energy of lack. The person who stands firmly within themselves gives off the energy of abundance. I see you. Tell me more is not only a sentence for others. It is also a practice for yourself. Because to say these words sincerely, you must lower your ego. You must stop thinking, what am I going to say next? You must stop turning every conversation into a stage for yourself. You must allow another person to exist without immediately pulling the spotlight back to you. That is discipline. And in Stoicism, discipline is not only about enduring pain. Discipline is also controlling your mouth when you want to brag, controlling your eyes when you want to judge, controlling your emotions when you want to react, controlling your insecurity when you are afraid you are not interesting enough. An attractive person is not always the person who speaks the most. An attractive person is the one who makes others feel elevated after the conversation. Remember this. After a conversation, people may forget the exact words you said, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. Did you make them feel small or important? Did you make them feel judged or understood? Did you make them feel defensive or safe? Did you make them feel interrupted or heard? That is the difference. A Stoic understands that words carry weight. Not every sentence needs to be spoken. Not every thought needs to be released. Not every argument needs to be won. Sometimes you win the argument but lose the respect. Sometimes you prove your point but close someone's heart. So before you speak, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this true? Is this kind? Will this deepen the conversation? Or is this only serving my ego? When you live this way, something changes in you. You no longer react instantly to everything people say. If someone brags, you do not need to compete. If someone criticizes you, you do not need to defend yourself immediately. If someone is cold toward you, you do not collapse. If someone attractive enters your life, you do not abandon yourself just to get their attention. You simply remain present, calm, self-controlled, aware. That is the magnetism of someone who is not easily manipulated. But be careful. These 6 words only have power when they are real. If you use them as a trick, people will feel it. Human beings may not always be able to explain it, but they can often sense when someone is pretending to listen just to get something from them. Presence cannot be faked for long. You can learn communication techniques. You can learn body language. You can learn how to ask better questions. But if inside you are only thinking, how can I make this person like me? That energy will eventually show. The Stoic does not ask, how can I become more attractive in the eyes of others? The Stoic asks, how can I become a better human being when I'm with others? That is the difference. When you genuinely care, you do not need to perform. When you are truly calm, you do not need to act mysterious. When you truly respect yourself, you do not need to beg for attention. When you truly listen, you do not need fancy words. I see you, tell me more. Use these words when someone is opening up. When a friend says, I have been really tired lately, do not rush to say, everyone is tired. Do not rush to say, just stay positive. Do not immediately turn it into your own story. Look at them and say, I see you, tell me more. When someone you love says, I feel like you do not listen to me anymore, do not instantly defend yourself. Do not say, that is not true. Do not say, you are overreacting. Pause, breathe, and say, I see you, tell me more. When a family member becomes angry, their words may not be perfect. Their tone may be uncomfortable. But if you are calm enough to listen beneath the anger, you may hear fear. Behind criticism, you may hear loneliness. Behind frustration, you may hear a person who feels unseen. Many conflicts do not need more logic. They need more presence. This does not mean you must always agree. Listening does not mean surrendering. Understanding does not mean allowing disrespect. Stoicism does not teach you to become weak so others can walk over you. It teaches you to become strong enough that you do not need to react impulsively. You can say, I understand that this matters to you. I want to hear more. But we need to speak to each other with respect. That is real strength. Strength is not making others fear you. Strength is keeping your character when other people are losing theirs. And that is extremely attractive, because the world is full of people who cannot control their emotions. One small criticism makes them explode. One delayed message makes them panic. One moment of silence makes them imagine disaster. One rejection makes them abandon their self-respect. But the Stoic is different. The Stoic is not cold. The Stoic is not emotionless. The Stoic simply does not allow emotion to drive the entire direction of life. They can love without clinging. They can care without begging. They can listen without losing boundaries. They can give attention without becoming desperate for attention in return. That is why they attract people. They do not chase everyone. They build themselves into someone the right people want to stay around. One of the biggest mistakes in communication is believing attraction comes from saying the perfect thing. But often, attraction comes from not saying the wrong thing when someone needs to be heard. Do not interrupt. Do not judge too early. Do not give advice before it is invited. Do not turn someone else's pain into a stage for your wisdom. Many people give advice not because they want to help, but because they want to feel intelligent. The Stoic notices this impulse inside themselves and pauses. When someone is in pain, they may not need a lecture. They may need someone stable enough to sit beside them without being afraid of their emotions. You can become that person, not by memorizing 100 attractive phrases, but by practicing one quality, calm presence. Start small. The next time someone speaks to you, put your phone down. Look at them. Do not immediately tell your own story. Do not steal the subject. Do not rush to fix their emotions. Just listen. Then say, I see you, tell me more. You may be surprised by what happens. People will speak more honestly. They will share more deeply. They will feel that you are different from most people they meet. Not because you are using a trick, but because you are giving them something the modern world is constantly taking away: full attention. In an age of distraction, attention is a gift. In an age of noise, listening is power. In an age where everyone is trying to attract attention, the person who does not try too hard stands out. But remember this, the goal is not to make everyone attracted to you. That is a dangerous goal. Not everyone should be drawn to you. Not everyone deserves your attention. Not every connection is good for your life. Stoicism reminds you that living rightly is more important than being liked. If you have to pretend to make someone like you, the price is too high. If you have to abandon your boundaries to make someone stay, you are losing yourself. If you have to tolerate disrespect just to be accepted, that is not attraction. That is self-betrayal. So use these 6 words with wisdom. I see you, tell me more does not mean you must listen to everyone forever. It means that when you choose to listen, listen fully. When you choose to be present fully. When you choose to care, do not care halfway. And if the other person does not respond with respect, calmly walk away. A self-controlled person does not beg for a place in someone else's life. They live rightly. They speak honestly. They listen deeply. They protect their peace. And they allow the results to unfold. That is the Stoic version of attraction. Not pretending, not performing, not acting cold, not manipulating emotion, but becoming someone with such inner stability that others feel safe around you, and with such depth that they want to understand you more. You do not need to be the loudest person in the room. You do not need to be the funnest. You do not need to be the richest, the most beautiful, or the most impressive. You only need to become rare. A person who truly sees others. Because every person you meet is carrying a story they rarely get to tell completely, a fear they are trying to hide, a dream they are afraid others will laugh at, a wound they have not yet learned how to name, a better version of themselves waiting for someone to recognize it. When you say, "I see you, tell me more," you are not just opening a conversation, you are opening a door. And sometimes, when someone feels truly seen, they never forget you. But before you can truly see others, you must learn to see yourself. See your insecurity without hating it. See your ego without letting it rule you. See your fear of rejection without letting it turn you into someone fake. See your need for love without letting it become dependency. When you see yourself clearly, you no longer need constant validation from others. And when you are no longer starving for validation, you can give people a cleaner kind of attention. That is the beautiful circle. The more you master yourself, the more capable you become of listening to others without needing to possess them. In the end, these 6 words do more than help you attract people. They help you become the kind of person you can respect. A person who listens before speaking. A person who understands before judging. A person who stays calm before reacting. A person who does not need to control others in order to feel valuable. A person who does not chase surface-level attraction, but builds inner strength. And that is what Stoicism always brings us back to. Everything begins within. You cannot control who likes you, but you can control whether you live with honor. You cannot control who stays, but you can control whether you become a peaceful presence. You cannot control whether someone opens their heart, but you can control whether you are present enough to receive the truth when they do. So the next time you want to impress someone, stop. Do not try to talk more. Do not try to prove more. Do not try to become the center of the room. Breathe slowly. Look at the person in front of you as a real human being. And when the right moment comes, say these 6 words. I see you, tell me more. Say them with sincerity. Say them with calmness. Say them not to control, but to connect. Because the most attractive person is not the one who makes the whole world look at them. The most attractive person is the one who makes others feel, even for a moment, that they are no longer invisible. And in a world full of noise, that may be the rarest gift you can give.